and now I have become late, the destroyer of my own reputation. Hello, guys, and here are my thoughts on my long overdue thoughts on the recent blockbuster Oppenheimer, directed by Christopher Nolan and starring Cillian Murphy as the eponymous Oppenheimer, Robert J. Oppenheimer, the creator of the atomic bomb, and starring also every other actor in Hollywood apparently in this movie. I mean, already the names on the poster and the trailer, right? It's already quite long, but there are also quite a few surprising appearances in this movie that well, I certainly did not expect to see. But I'm not going to spoil it for you guys, even though most of you probably already seen the movie and already probably know what I'm talking about. But anyway, yeah. So this is a biopic about Oppenheimer, and well, you know, these kinds of things are a dime a dozen. But what helps make this biopic a little unique is Christopher Nolan. Yeah, his the style, the way he directs his movies, he it helps make this movie feel, you know, unique compared to other um, biopics. Now, a lot of Nolan's movies are, of course, very, you know, very grounded, very intellectual, and all that, you know, does kind of translate well into usual biopics. But for this one, especially, he does play around a lot more with the visual aspect, more than he would in most of his other movies that are supposed to be more grounded. Um, but like, you know, some of his other movies, like Interstellar, you know, Inception, all the science fiction stuff that he does. Of course, you know, that kind of the kind of genre affords him, you know, the chance to play around with the style a bit. But this is, you know, about a real person. But he does, you know, play around with the visuals. He does some interesting things with the visuals. I'm not going to spoil for you, but it helps, you know, makes a certain moments in this movie so interesting. So like, I feel like this was all this playing around with style and visual and stuff was very effective because it helps us really to understand, to get into to get a real sense of who this guy Oppenheimer was and what he was feeling, what he was thinking at certain points in his life. Like a real highlight in terms of this was, yeah, was a moment that happens after the bomb goes off. I mean, there's no spoilers here. This is history, so everyone knows, you know, what happened, or at least the general idea. There's a moment after the bomb goes off where he's addressing this group of people and the impact that the bomb has had on, you know, ending the war, and the way, you know, Nolan and the filmmakers use, you know, the visuals, the lighting, the sound, and just performance in this moment. It's just incredible. R is very much kind of like the maybe the best scene in the whole movie, and there are other moments like that throughout the movie, but that was probably the best. But you know, these there aren't too many of these in the movie, and I think that was good because it would have distracted a little bit from, you know, from this story, which you know, as per Nolan's style, is broken up. It's very non-linear. We get a sense of we get to learn the story of Oppenheimer through different points in his life concurrently at the same time. And for some, this might be, yeah, as with a lot of non-linear stories, this may be a little bit confusing. But Nolan, it wasn't too like hard to follow. It wasn't really hard to follow. At least it wasn't for me. Yeah, Nolan's direction, his writing is smart in helping us to, you know, giving us a sense of, you know, the time and setting that each of like when we're in this one scene, like when this is set and when this other scene is set. Most of the time, there were some points where you might get a little confused. It's understandable, and yeah, this also extends to, you know, his writing, which is of course once again very intellectual. It's very well crafted screenplay. It's just incredible, this dialogue, this writing. But you know, a lot of it is, you know, very, you know, talky and intellectual, and of course deals with a lot of things that, you know, things that happen in history that, you know, if you weren't privy to, you might find a little bit confusing or hard to follow. But even when it is, it's still so intriguing. It makes you want to learn more about the things that happen, and especially what happened, especially who this guy Oppenheimer is about. And they really, it really, this movie really does paint this man Oppenheimer as a really complex individual where you're not sure exactly. You get a sense that of the things that he believes, of the things that of who he is as a person, but not too much. There's a lot more nuance to it than that. Like for example, when it deals with some of the political things that he was involved in, um, he's a member of certain parties, but he doesn't believe wholly in some of their ideals. So he's a very complex individual. Certain things that he feels about, like certain events, certain things that he does that he later does that he feels a certain way about now, but then doesn't. But then changes his mind later on in the story. So there's um, there's a real sense of development. We're really delving into the psyche of who this man is at different points in his life, and what led him there, and why he chose to believe in one thing at first and then not at a later point in his life. It's all very nuanced, very complex, and it's in a sense it does it does at times in a certain sense make it hard to get a firm, like a solid grasp of like why maybe Oppenheimer did certain things, why he did this or believed in that. But I think maybe a part of that is the points. This guy is he was a complicated person, and sometimes we're not even sure why we may choose to do certain things, why we did that, or why we changed our minds about certain things. But yeah, so it really does just it's a very fascinating, a very colorful, very interesting portrait of a controversial figure in history. And you know, Nolan told the story incredibly, and the performances were all great. Cillian Murphy does an incredible job, of course, as he usually does, and as do all the other actors. Everything, the music, the sound, the visual cinematography, everything, it's incredible. So yeah, so this is I mean, I guess overall the film for me is a really solid, very shiny silver recommendation. And I know people are probably expecting me to rank it higher, of course, but I may need to, really need to maybe see it one or two more times, maybe let certain things sit with me to tell me really get a sense of, why this movie may be so special. But certainly there are certain, moments in this movie where are just gold standard filmmaking. So there it is. That's those are my thoughts on Oppenheimer. Well, what did you think? And let me know. Leave a comment, leave a like. Let me know your thoughts and of anything else any suggestions that you may have. And I'll see you in the next one. Look forward to more soon. Take care.